I found it funny today or this week that Jimmy Howard had those pictures of his helmet posted on Twitter. I'm like, you're not really playing, so why post? I mean,
it was sweet.
It was a sweet helmet. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Bored.
Yeah, and he's bored. Pete going with the right to the canal. But you look at look at this right now. You got the Panthers leading the Atlantic Division. Yager is still playing and dominating.
Yeah, to an extent.
At 43, and it's amazing. And he doesn't care about the 8. He doesn't care. I mean, he's getting 20.
6 years ago, the Wings tried to get him. He didn't want to come to Detroit, by the way.
Yeah, it's fine.
He didn't want to come here.
He doesn't know.
I mean, and there's a lot of other surprises. Dallas just continuing to roll in the West. Former Wing executive Jim Neal. There's talk about that. There's a lot of factors in what's going on, but it's just the Wings have done a very good job of continuing to be the playoff. They've overcome a lot of stuff, including the goalie controversy. But Larkin, well, Andy, I'll ask this question. I think Fredi asked this question, or Fredi said this last week. If you all talk, and I think if Mike Backhouse was here, would have Larkin been on this roster right now?
Not a chance.
Fourth line, maybe.
Oh, well, we all hear the quote all the time. Young guys aren't the answer.
Yep.
He's 19 years old, and to me, there's not enough press in our town talking about this guy. I mean, he's our only rep at the All-Star game. He's 19. The last time that happened, Steve Yzerman. And good Lord, you still see Yzerman jerseys around town. Everybody loves
You'll
him.
see it for the rest of your life.
100%. But what gets me about Larkin, though, and last time I was here, I talked, he needs to get tougher. I happened to catch that Buffalo game a couple of Fridays ago. I was at my local watering hole. We just get done with the power play, which we don't score. It was kind of a crappy power play. The puck never got stopped, so Buffalo still had their PK unit on the ice. They're dragging. Blashill puts out Larkin, I think Yurko, and I forgot whom else. Larkin shoots one at a weird angle on one side, sweeps around the net, gets his own rebound back essentially, and launches it top shelf for a goal. Mind you, he did this after getting the penalty where the player cross-checked him in the face, chipped a tooth, bloodied his nose.
Yeah.
His toughness has grown.
Oh,
and to me, here in Detroit, he needs to be more of a, not just household name, but we got to get this kid props. And we're going to see him tonight in the speed skating competition, I believe, in the
Yeah, and he should have been in the breakaway competition. If people in Detroit had done their job on Twitter, I'm calling you out.
Yeah, well, you know what happens. And feel free, if you're a Larkin fan, hit us up, the Pizza Cave, 313-888-3538. Be part of the show. Wake up, pour some coffee, have a shot, have some fun. It's Saturday in the morning.
We need to get Larkin here in the Pizza Cave.
There you go.
Oh.
Real quick shout out to Laura Bagley listening in. Laura!
What we're going to say, though, I mean, in terms of Larkin's presence has been defensively, the lack of scoring, the Wings right now differential right now they're a lot more goals that they're scoring. It's only like by 2 or 3. It's not really by much, but the divisions have been kind of surprising. The East has been East is always going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. The Atlantic, Metropolitan, Washington just straight killing it, but. Fredi, what have you seen so far heading in the All-Star break, especially last week, when Razik kind of taking it by the balls, the goalie, the number one position?
Well, I still go back to lacking a number one defenseman, man. That's and I know Cromwell is hurt, but he's not number one. They're lacking that guy. I think maybe Olet and Marchenko maybe need to be given that chance.
They have to. They got no one else,
Yeah, but they get a guy, a number one defenseman that can get the puck out of the zone, get him to the forwards. I think that would help him a lot. I think that's what's really hurting them. But how do you get that number one guy? You got to give up a lot to get him.
Yep.
Stamkos way too much to get that guy, and I don't think that's their problem. I really don't think. I think the defense is, because if you get to the playoffs, it's all about defense.
Game gets shorter.
And then
ice gets smaller.
Yes. So is Mrazek going to be able to stand on his head in the playoffs? Most likely he will. But if you got another number one guy sitting there, I think it'll help you, especially on the blue line,
Well, I think you're right about Mrazek, absolutely, Fredo. Yeah. I don't have any problems about. I usually worry about the goaltending going into the playoffs, and this year I'm not worried about it, considering that the Wings hopefully will make their 25th straight playoffs. We don't know yet, even though they are in second place in the Atlantic Division. I think they're only in the playoff picture in the East by only like 4 or 5 points.
think
So
we're the fifth seed though today.
No,
if it were to end.
if it ends today, your fifth seed. Is that
We-
what it
we
is?
play
Yeah.
Tampa.
You guys
Yeah.
follow more hockey than me. If they were in the West, where would they be sitting?
You know where they'd be sitting in the West right now? I'll tell you, out.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah,
Out.
looking in the window.
The Wings moving to the East actually saved their playoff streak. I'll tell you that right now.
Great point.
I'll tell you that right now. But I don't worry about Mrazek going into the playoffs. I worry about the defense in front of them. Because here's going to be the problem for Wings fans. Once Mrazek starts letting in 3 goals per playoff game, everybody's going to start blaming Mrazek. Well, I'm going to say, well, where's the defense? You know who the pressure's on? I'm going to give you one player who the pressure's on to make the Wings successful. I'll give you one guy. One guy.
Can I guess?
Number 6. Okay, go ahead.
I want to say Zetterberg.
No, number 65.
The
Danny the Kaiser
Yeah,
is the
he-
key to the playoff run, and I'm going to tell you why.
He needs to step it up.
Because he's your biggest defenseman out there. Jonathan Erickson can't do it anymore. You need Danny the Kaiser. He's a De La Salle boy, just like I am. Pilot pride.
I'm waiting for it.
All right?
I'm waiting
You
for it.
need to
Yep.
step up your game, De Kaiser, because you are the trendsetter
Yeah,
on the
with
blue
the
line.
he's
If you don't
pointing.
start hitting
He's pointing.
people and putting centers
Pete
out
the
of the
fingernail.
ice, we're going to have issues, buddy boy. I'm going to have your tuition revoked.
Pete the
My whole
fingernail.
point is that the Wings' success comes down to the defense, and the key on the defense in his 4th year now is Danny the Kaiser.
Well, the best part about the Kaiser too is he was pretty much scratchy. You know, I mean, we got him for a bag of donuts over here.
We're getting a lot of
Well,
new
what
followers.
what enjoys me
Getting a lot
about
of
the
new
Red
followers.
Wings is their
Yeah.
success
Dude, I'm
right
getting
now.
on 5 a day.
Their
Followers.
offense has not been sparkly at all. You know, they're piecemealing goals.
I'm gonna be at $4
Their
grand in
defense is
about
definitely
probably a month.
shoddy. What's saving them is Mrazek and Larkin.
Absolutely.
Literally two, and when it pertains to NHL, obviously it's such a team sport. They're all team sports, but you want a well-rounded team. We're doing what we're doing right now, basically with Mrazek and Larkin.
But Mrazek's making Hasek saves.
Look at this
Well,
Twitter.
not help him.
Look at that Twitter name. Someone just favored Larkin Gretzky. Larkin
There
Gretzky.
you go. It's a future name for
Well,
it.
Yeah.
one question is what happens if I lost my train of thought? Go on.
Well,
What
and
happens?
to me, when
Short
I was
term.
looking at the standings earlier this morning doing my show prep, by the way, if the playoffs were to start right now, you know who wouldn't be in it right now, Raj? The Montreal Canadiens. They're
Yeah.
an outside looking in
Absolutely.
right now.
Calgary, Vancouver, all of them.
Well, and plus two,
Raj brought it up last week.
too. Who's in the second to last in our division? Toronto.
Toronto.
Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah, exactly.
Toronto. There's a
Toronto.
chance that there
Toronto.
might not be any Canadian teams in the playoffs.
That's Matt Derry's line.
Which is rough.
Toronto.
Actually, here's my question though, as it pertains to that. If there's no Canadian team in the NHL playoffs, is CBC going to show all the Wings games?
Tell you
That'd be
something.
great.
They have to.
Oh, yeah.
You know why? I'm going to give you. I hate to go political, and I'm not going to get. You know why they have to? Because their economy just tanked. Do you know how much the Canadian dollar is right now? 70 cents to ours.
You gonna bring up Donald
70
Trump's
cents.
name? You gonna bring up Donald Trump's
No,
name?
no. My whole point is that without a Canadian team in the playoff, the country's losing more money. They're in
Tell them to
deep
come to the
debt.
casinos here then.
That's all I'm getting
So
political.
apparently, Pete, now's a good time to go to Don Cherry's bar.
Yeah.
No. They changed
need
the name
money.
to the.
Don Cherry still has that bar?
No, he changed it the late
They need money.
90s, early millennium. When I started going to Canada in my youth,
Those are 30 years ago.
they changed it around 2000, 2001, 2002. I can't remember because they used to go to that street, all those bars over there, Jokers.
Yeah.
Buy a lot of down
The left
19-year-old
side
Yeah, Downriver's finest
That's
girls.
19-year-old heaven.
Jokers.
Go to Canada, wake up in Troy.
Yeah.
You are this 19-year-old heaven, man.
Poor David. David's like, what the hell's going on over here?
I wasn't as lucky as you, Andy, but I just say this. You know, Joker's had some. It's a good time. Woody, the Wild Woodies. There's a Woodies over there. I think it's Wild. I can't remember the name of the bar.
A lot of guys got Woody.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that.
19-year-old land, man.
Yeah, 19-year-old Roger was drunk a lot. But anyways, but I think you know what's weird too. What's going on in Florida? Former Red Wing Gerald Gallant. Would you ever think in a million years that Gerald effing Gallant,
Number 17.
number 17, Gerald Gallant, would be leading a team? Which, by the way, in Florida they don't really give a hoot about the Panthers at all. They don't. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. They're in a bad market and in the middle of an arena, in the middle of nowhere. Gerald Gallant. Andy,
It's
Gerald
Gerard.
Gallant.
Well, in
Gerard.
Gerard, yeah,
Gerard.
And by the way, who was his center? Anybody know his center?
exactly. Steve Eiserman, and
No.
he was the last. Oh, wasn't it?
Not towards the end.
Is that
Schomburg. Schomburg.
Gerard Gallant did well when he was in Columbus, right? I mean, he got fired
very
quick.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to me.
He was
that-
Eisman to start and then
Yeah.
Burr at the end.
Well, what got what?
Didn't he pass Schomburg?
Did he pass Schoenberg?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, he
Well,
did.
Gallant played with Eiserman.
It's a late
Eiserman's
shot.
the last
Steve
rookie to
Chaseau,
make the
too.
NHL All-Star
Yeah.
game, and now we have Dylan Larkin.
And
So
who was-
there's a little Gerard Gallant
And who was
intertwined right there
and who
with
was?
Larkin.
I love this. I love old hockey. And do you know who?
Peter Klima.
No. You know who
Good
was
old
back
days.
there on defense for those guys? Come on, who was the number?
Chason was
There
one.
you go, number 3,
Steve
Steve,
Chason.
the late Steve.
Yeah, he
Chason.
passed away.
There you go.
Yeah.
By the way, we do have a hockey podcast on SRD.
Sorry.
The SRD Hockey Podcast and Red Wings SRD.
Dan Bartley.
If you want to tune those guys in,
Dave
Danny
Bart.
Bartley, Jason Pickham, Steve Hyatt, you tune them in right now. They just had 2 episodes that came out last week. Yesterday. I mean, we're talking old hockey, so they don't know anything
Yeah,
about old
sorry.
hockey. But,
We went
oh,
off
by the way,
tangent,
we got a
sorry.
message from Tim Cook. The Spuddy Steve Paul McLean line was incredible. And yes, it was. Thank you for that comment. That was a line. Wow. Tim, that's a good one. I haven't thought about
That's
that
a
line.
good one.
Paul, was it 88, 89?
Call him by his real name, please, Tiny. No, that's Timmy's name.
No,
Tiny.
when was that? But no, here's the question. When was it? 87, 88?
88.
88. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's when I started really. My first Red Wing goalie actually was Greg Steffen and Glenn Hansen.
Oh, Greg
And then when
Steffen.
we injured Greg Steffen when he was, I think it was his knee where he was done for forever. I remember that. But yeah, it was Glenn Hanlon.
Number
Greg Steffen.
30.
Yeah, and then Tim Shovelday. Then it was
Oh,
for
number
that. So,
31.
you listen to the Pizza Cave.
Could you imagine?
podcast.
Could you imagine Tim Shovelday with Twitter? Oh my goodness.
No, one of those guys couldn't handle it.
Or
You
even
listen to
Osgood,
Pizza
that
Cave.
rookie year when he lost to the Sharks at the number 1 seed.
True story. His name is Tiny. I work with Pete. Tim, thanks so much for listening this morning. You listen to Pizza Cave, 888-853. If you want to shoot a text in, get a lot of comments on Twitter. So thanks again to Tijuana's. Find any real locations in Lincoln Park, Dearborn, and Allen Park as well. Or is that Lincoln Park?
Lincoln Park.
2 Lincoln Park locations.
No, they have one in. I can't tell you the third one, but the Dearborn, Lincoln Park, and the other one might be
Southfield and Outer-
Southgate, Wyandotte area,
Okay, there's that one at Southfield and the one that's in Southfield
and
and
Dix. That's Lincoln Park.
that's Lincoln Park. Okay, I thought they had another one too on 4th Street, right?
Yeah, they probably do, but I don't know if that's
All
by
right,
Wyandotte.
okay. Yeah, that could be one. Yeah, I think you're right. It might be that. But anyway, 2 locations downriver. 2 locations downriver, 1 location in Dearborn. So there we go. As we transition into really, I mean, we've been talking Michigan, we've been talking Cam Newton, hockey, whatever you guys want to continue the discussion with. But overall, here's another question for you guys. Do you see Jimmy Howard being traded in this coming up at the trade deadline?
Well, if he gets traded, that helmet, he's gonna have to change that helmet. So if he gets traded to like Edmonton, who are the greats in Edmonton? He's gonna have to put Wayne Gretzky's head on there and
An oil can.
and Curry, Yari Curry, and the goalie, Grant Fuhrer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's how. I mean, what are they going to get for him?
Exactly.
I think they're going to keep him as insurance because if something happens, trade him in the offseason.
Well, my question is, do the Red Wings need another couple hockey pucks? Because really, that's all you're going to get for Jimmy Howard. No one's going to take
unless
him.
somebody in contention loses their goalie, is the only chance we have.
That is true, but you got to look, to me, if I'm a GM in the NHL, you say, okay, well, who do I want? I want an experienced NHL goalie, but I want someone that's done something. I mean, Jimmy's won, what, a couple first-round playoff series? Forget about it.
Yeah, but he needs a change. He's a good goalie. He needs a change. He needs to get out of here. I think he'll do well somewhere else.
I think
But you know better than me. You watch more hockey than I
You hit
do.
the nail on the head a little bit. He's been in our system. He knows the team. He's been around. He hasn't taken us on a long cup run by any stretch of the imagination. So he is our veteran goalie that we can look for if Mrazek, for the lack of a better term, poops the bed in the playoffs, which hopefully he does not do. You need that good backup.
In fairness to him, though, he has with the Blackhawks. We were up 3-1 in that series. So
Total nightmare. Don't
Yeah,
even bring that
fairness
up.
to him.
Cool.
I think that the Wings are going to stick with Jimmy Howard as
Yeah.
a backup. The only reason why is because the only other option you really have, who I do think is a future backup for the Wings, is Thomas McCollum. Now he's obviously down in Grand Rapids, and that's
see you, David.
that's where you
Thank you,
you
buddy.
want.
Sure, you want a slice of pizza?
McCollum is in Grand Rapids because he gets playing time.
Season.
I mean, yeah, you want him to be seasoned, but there's no way in hell that they're going to bring him up when the playoffs are coming around. Jimmy Howard is the perfect backup right now in the Wings organization because of his experience in the playoffs. Whether good or bad, I don't care because we know Mrazek's going to get the start, and we already saw what Mrazek can do against Tampa Bay. Okay, he owns them, and that's great because Steve Yzerman knows how to build a team, and so does Jim Nill down in Dallas. All the former Red Wings that are being spread around. But I really think that Howard stays on the Wings. He will not be traded because of his experience, and that's the only reason why. But after this year's over, win or lose, ring or no ring, Howard's gone, and it's the Thomas McCollum show with Mrazek.
And now you got Brendan and Shanahan in Toronto building a team.
Exactly.
You know who's next?
With Babby.
Chris Draper. Watch out for Draper one day.
Next.
He's going to do well somewhere.
Well, quick question, maybe 30 seconds or a minute tops. Are you going to watch NHL All-Star game?
Absolutely.
Do you have any?
I have no intention. But if